Biden will threaten Social Security and Medicare and bumble into the first default in our nation's history. And just to clarify, this will not only impact Social Security and Medicare, but this will impact everybody if he does not negotiate raising the debt ceiling with the Republicans, Kevin McCarthy says. And as I reported to you, Kevin McCarthy has unveiled his new plan to raise the debt ceiling, and it has cuts for several different programs, including rescinding back the unspent COVID-19 funds, the stimulus package funds that remain that were meant to go out to help out the American people, $400 billion. Now, in addition to that, they want to stop the funding for the 87,000 new IRS agents, and they also want to stop the student loan debt forgiveness. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but we have not heard back from President Joe Biden, who is saying he refuses to negotiate on potential cuts. As take a look at this. Joe Manchin slams President Joe Biden for deficiency of leadership, applauding McCarthy's debt limit plan, saying at least he brought forth the plan. Biden still hasn't done anything except for accuse McCarthy of cuts, and he's saying at least he's putting forth the effort. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And in addition to that, take a look at this. Debt ceiling jitters. It's starting to get serious. We have never been this close to a potential U.S. default. Debt ceiling jitters lift U.S. credit default swaps to the highest since 2011 as people are concerned that we could be getting dangerously close to a default. And again, this would impact everybody. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the speech that came out from McCarthy. You're going to hear him slam Biden and talk about some of the issues that they're having right now and present his new bill so you can see it for yourself. Now, this is about 9 minutes long. I'm just going to share with you the whole thing so you can hear it for yourself and you can decide what you think. What's going on here? Is McCarthy making the efforts? Is his proposal bad? Is Biden doing the right thing by not negotiating, or is he jeopardizing everybody? Right now, President Joe Biden has an approval rating of about 30% or so. The vast majority of the country does not approve of the way that Biden has been running things, and they feel like things are going downhill. Let me know your thoughts, but let's take a look at the video footage so you can see it for yourself. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, smash the like button, hit subscribe to stay up to date. Shout out to all the members that have hit the join button. You will get exclusive access to me and also topics specifically on things that you want to hear. And if you want every single stimulus check available in the nation, www.reliefroadmap.com for states, cities, and counties, a list of over 100 different ones available right now. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in.
You know, if you gave your child a credit card and they kept maxing it out to the limit, you wouldn't blindly just raise the limit. You'd change their behavior. That exact same thing is true with our national debt. We need to lower inflation, reduce our dependence on China, and lift Americans out of poverty. America has a $31 trillion debt, and Washington is on the clock. But what are Democrats doing? President Biden is skipping town to deliver a speech in Maryland rather than sitting down to address the debt ceiling. He's giving America's debt the southern border treatment. Ignore it and hope that it goes away. In fact, he's been avoiding the issue for 77 straight days and counting. Now, Senator Schumer, he's just missing in action. Rather than find common ground with the House, Senator Schumer is having the Senate vote on a non-binding resolution commending and congratulating the University of Connecticut men's basketball team for winning the 2023 men's basketball championship. Now, that's not all Senator Schumer's been doing. Just last month, he's approved March as Maine's Maple Syrup Month. Talk about taking on big issues. I wonder what May's month will be about. When President Biden and Senate Democrats waste time, House Republicans are taking action. Today, I'm proud to announce that we are introducing the Limit, Save, Grow Act of 2023. This responsible legislation will be led by our budget chairman, Jody Arrington. Would responsibly raise the debt limit into next year and provide more than $4.5 trillion in savings to the American taxpayer. Now, here's how we do it. First, we limit government spending. Our plan would return discretionary spending to pre-inflationary fiscal year 2022 levels, and then limit the growth of spending to 1% per year. Now, these are the same levels we had just 4 months ago. I didn't hear, Mr. Speaker, a single Democrat complain about that level of spending. These spending limits are not draconian, they're responsible. Federal spending exploded in the past 2 years when Democrats controlled all, and that doesn't include the trillions of COVID-era spending. But limited government spending will reduce inflation and restore fiscal discipline in Washington. If Washington wants to spend more, it will have to come together, find savings elsewhere, just like every single household in America. Now, second, we're going to save taxpayers money. Mr. Speaker, the pandemic is over. House Republicans have already passed a bill to officially end the pandemic. And President Biden signed it into law just last week. Our bill would actually claw back billions of dollars of unspent COVID money that has sat for the last 2 years. The American people are tired of politicians who use COVID as an excuse for more extreme inflationary spending. Now, if this money was authorized to fight the pandemic, but was not spent during the pandemic, it should not be spent after the pandemic is over. Our proposals also repeal Biden's army of 87,000 IRS agents. Now, that will save taxpayers $70 billion, and it's going to protect the families and the small businesses from weaponizing the IRS. It will end the green giveaways for companies that distort the market and waste taxpayers' money. Now, Goldman Sachs just did an analysis, and they say the savings from ending these green giveaways are as much as $1.2 trillion. And we would prohibit President Biden's student loan giveaway for the wealthy. That will protect the 87% of adults without student loans for paying the loans of the 13% who do. And finally, we will grow the economy so we are less dependent on China. Our proposal would restore American energy leadership, make it easier to build things in America, make us less dependent on China, and bring jobs back to America. It will also help lift millions of Americans out of poverty. Right now, there are more job openings than people looking for work, in part because the Biden administration has weakened some of the very work requirements that then Senator Joe Biden previously supported. Our plan ensures adults without dependents earn a paycheck and learn new skills. By restoring these common sense measures, we can help more Americans earn a paycheck, learn new skills, reduce childhood poverty, and rebuild the workforce. It will also protect and preserve Medicare and Social Security because more people will be paying into it. And we will prevent President Biden's executive overreach to spend money outside the normal process, which President Biden has abused to the tune of $1.5 trillion in unilateral executive actions. You know, we should welcome and celebrate the benefits of a strong, growing economy. For with a strong, growing economy, we'll no longer be dependent upon China. We will no longer be the victims to inflation. And we can leave a better future for our kids and our grandchildren. Mr. Speaker, House Republicans are taking action to lift the debt limit, to limit government spending, save taxpayers money, and grow the economy. President Biden and Senator Schumer have no right to play politics with the debt calling. Their extreme positions risk provoking the very crisis they claim to want to avoid. They need to sit down, negotiate, and address this crisis. Now that we've introduced a clear plan for a responsible debt limit increase, they have no more excuse and refuse to negotiate. I think the Senate can honor maple syrup and basketball teams and negotiate on a debt ceiling at the same time. We owe it to the American people to use this moment in history to deliver the future they want, need, and deserve. House Republicans have a plan. The Senate does not. And the President is ignoring the debt crisis. President Biden has a choice. Come to the table and stop playing partisan political games. Or cover his ears, refuse to negotiate, and risk bumbling his way into the first default in our nation's history. I urge all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this plan to get our nation back on track. So yes, we then can curb inflation, end our dependency on China, and strengthen and protect Social Security and Medicare. With that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
So there you have it. And again, let me know your thoughts. Now, we've heard a lot of members of Congress saying that this is dead in the water, McCarthy's bill, because even if he passes it in the House, it'll go on to the Senate where Democrats will block it. Or even if they passed it, the president can veto it. Now, we're also hearing McCarthy say that the president has done that before with other things. He said the pandemic wasn't over, yet he signed the approval to say that it was done. And he's saying that he thinks the president's bluffing and that if Congress pushes this through, that he will sign because there's too much at stake. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, I will keep you up to date on everything. And if you want the latest on Social Security, stimulus checks, everything that's going on, be sure to check out these videos next, as I will keep you up to date as everything unfolds. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.